Today, we're going to look at indirect proofs. So, reasoning kind of around the long way sometimes, you could say. Okay? So, let's look at this first example. Marta states that the number of this riddle must be 7. Explain why this cannot be true. The number is a prime number. The square of the number is less than 100 and greater than 10. The number is not a factor of 21. What is the number? Okay. So the number squared is less than 100, bigger than 10, and not a factor of 21. 7 breaks one of those rules. What rule does that break? Cheyenne? 21. The 21. 7 is a factor of 21, so it breaks that rule. So then we know that it can't be 7. Okay? Now, can we figure out what number it could be? Shane? 5. 5 works because 5 is not a factor of 21. 5 squared is 25, which is bigger than 10, less than 100. Okay? 3 doesn't work because it's not bigger than 10. 7 doesn't work because we already proved that. 9 doesn't work because, 9, the number is not a factor of 21. 9 could also work for that one. Oh, it's a prime number. Oh, forgot about that one. So 9 would not work. And then anything bigger than 9, its square is bigger. So 5. Got it. You're smart, Cheyenne. All right. Beth is having dinner with Sarah and one of Sarah's friends, either Libby, Kelly, or Mercedes. Beth orders chicken and spinach pizza to share for dinner. Who's having dinner with Beth? Now we know Libby is a vegetarian, Mercedes is at the library, and Kelly is allergic to mushrooms. So which one of those 3 is having dinner with her? Kelly is. Because Libby's a vegetarian and she has chicken on it, so it's not Libby. Mercedes, she can't have dinner because she's at the library. She's allergic to mushrooms, but there's no mushrooms on this pizza, so she's good. Okay? So that's figuring out how to determine things. Now, indirect proof. A proof that uses indirect reasoning is an indirect proof. Okay? And I think that's all that you'll need to write down for that. A proof that uses indirect reasoning. We use indirect proof when a direct proof isn't possible. There are 2 types of indirect proof, one by contradiction and one by contrapositive. We're just going to worry about the contradiction one today. We're not going to worry so much about the contrapositive. So a proof that uses indirect reasoning is an indirect proof. Do you have that written down, Miss Litz? Okay, good. Now, what words do you not have written down in your vocab sheet? Are there any that you don't have written down? What 2 are they? Proof and 2-column proof. That would have been last time. Let me go back to last time. I wonder if they're on the vocab quiz. I'm going to pause this. I'm just going to pause the video right now for a second just to see if those 2 are on the quiz, because those could be on the quiz. All right, proof and 2-column proof are on the quiz. So let me go back to section 1.7. and find those. Boom. All right. All right. For proof, write this down. A proof is a convincing argument that uses deductive reasoning. A convincing argument that uses deductive reasoning. A convincing argument that uses deductive reasoning is proof. Here, I'll even put it on the board for you so we make sure you get it. Boom. A convincing argument that uses deductive reasoning is a proof. And then a 2-column proof. Statements and reasons are aligned in columns. All right. So next time will be your vocab quiz. When's next time? Monday, because we don't have this class Friday because Friday's a B day. So yeah, that's when it'll be. Vocab quiz on Monday, and then we'll review for the test on Monday. And then next Wednesday will be the test. Okay, so when you do an indirect proof, you have a statement like, if P, then Q. So at the start, you assume that the opposite of your conclusion. So you take your conclusion and do the negation of it, do the opposite, and you assume that's true. And show that that's going to lead to a contradiction in what is going on. So then, because there's a contradiction, that conclusion has to be true. Okay? So, let's look at this. If Eleni walks more than 8 kilometers over a 2-day period, then she walks more than 4 kilometers on one or both days. So the hypothesis is Eleni walks more than 8 kilometers over a 2-day period. The conclusion is she walks more than 4 kilometers on one or both days. So what we have to do is do the opposite of Q. So we say she does not walk more than 4 kilometers on, and then we'll say either day, because it says one or both days, but she can't walk more than 4 on either day if we truly want it to be the opposite of this. So she does not walk more than 4 kilometers on either day. Okay? So if she doesn't walk more than 4 kilometers on either day, less than 4 kilometers plus less than 4 kilometers is less than 8 kilometers over the 2 days. Correct? That contradicts the given information that she walked more than 8 kilometers over a 2-day period. So she must have walked more than 4 kilometers on one or both days. And that's what an indirect proof is. You have to do the opposite of the conclusion, not the opposite of the hypothesis, but the opposite of the conclusion. Okay, so we wrote out the opposite of the conclusion. We wrote out what that would mean if we did the opposite of the conclusion. We showed that that goes against something stated in the hypothesis and stated that that was a contradiction. So we showed that the conclusion has to be true. Okay? So indirect proofs aren't always the easiest thing in the world, but that's what we're doing today. Okay? I'm not really going to talk too long. I want you to try to persevere through the homework. Okay? You're going to write contradictions of things, and then you got to figure out what things contradict with what, and then you got to work your way through a couple proofs. There's only 8 questions to do, so just work your way through it, and then when you're done, you're done. Okay? So don't just look at view an example every time or help me solve this every time. Okay? Try to work your way through it, make some mistakes, and do similar exercises until you get them right. Because if you just view an example, you're not learning anything, you're just copying it. You want to make your brain work here. Okay? So please